Welcome back to KingCast. It's been a few weeks. Not coming to you from the fancy studio. It's my kitchen. It's late at night. But we're going to jump into the nitty-gritty of booking the Memphis territory. Jarrett had one way of doing it, and Jerry the King Lawler had another way. Now, you would think the King being called, and by Vince McMahon and many other people called, one of the most brilliant minds in the history of professional wrestling, the King sets up at his art desk and he writes the matches, the setups, the angles, the storylines, and the actual match transitions, hot tags, comebacks, and he's just sweating and at his art desk. No, it's quite the opposite. In some cases, Jerry the King Lawler wrote weekly television while he left his house on a 10-minute drive to the actual TV studio. Jarrett, quite different. Here's how the two booked the Memphis territory back in the 70s and 80s.
You know, when Jarrett and I owned the Memphis territory, and we would do something a little strange. Most territories would hire a booker or somebody, to come in and book the matches every single night. Well, Jerry and I took turns at that, and he would book for 6 months, and then, man, at the end of the 6 months, no matter what was going on, he would turn it over to me. And I booked for 6 months, and no matter what was going on, what I had going on, turned it over to Jerry. And we really had totally different styles of booking and what we liked in the matches and that sort of thing. So, I don't know, like when Vince says, like, you're a natural, I know, just for instance, our Saturday morning TV was a 90-minute, basically, commercial for where the fans came in free, and we did a 90-minute show, which was basically a commercial to get people to pay money to come to see our house shows every week. In Memphis at the Coliseum, Louisville Gardens, Evansville at the Coliseum. That's where we made our money. And I know that Saturday morning TV, that 90 minutes that we had to book every week, was the most important thing that we did every week. And Jarrett would literally work. As soon as one TV was over, he would start working on the next week's TV. He would work all week long booking the next week's TV. He'd change stuff, he'd erase stuff. This is a great idea, and then 2 days later, no, that's not a good idea, and everything. Well, that's the way he booked. It took a week long to book Saturday morning TV. Well, on Friday nights, when I was booking, we had Tupelo, Mississippi, or Blytheville, Arkansas, and they were both about an hour and a half from Memphis. When the match was over, whoever was with me driving, that's when I would start booking Memphis TV for the next morning. I'd book it on that hour and a half ride from either Tupelo or Blytheville, Arkansas to TV the next morning. And I guess it was frustrating to a lot of the guys. Jimmy Hart will tell you this story a million times. He'd get there at, we'd go on the air live at 11. He'd get there at 9:30 or something, saying, "King, what am I doing today?" I said, "Jimmy, I'm busy. Let me I'll tell you later." And I was the world's worst on when the show was started on live and the guys were ready to go out for their interview. I'd say, "Jimmy Hart, you're next." And, he'd already be sweating. What am I supposed to say? And I just right then come up with some bullet points right off the top of my head, and as they're going out the door, and that's the way I book. But somehow, it always worked. So I guess that's sort of like being the natural at it, just being able to come up with stuff off the top of my head at a moment's notice.
Dutch tells a similar story where he was waiting to go out and you were booking. I don't know if you've heard this one.
I don't know.
It's like, "King, what do you want me to do?" "Hold on, let me get back to you." 20 minutes goes by. He's 30 minutes out. "King, what's the finish?" "Hold on, let me get back with you." 5 minutes. They're getting ready to call me. "I'll be right there."
That was me.
Coming to the ring, Dutch Mantel is like, and he asked you, what do you want me to do?" He said, "I'll just call it in the ring."
Yes, exactly.
I thought that was a funny one.
Yeah, that was. I guess that's the motto that I live by. Let's call it in the ring.